Hey guys, Louie here at your favorite bike shop, Just Ride LA. Today I'm going to demonstrate on how to shift your gears properly. So for starters, we have two shifters here. The right side is going to control the back side here. The left side here is going to control the front end here. So there's two different levers here. It's combined with the brake, but you want to remember that when you're shifting downwards, you want to make it a little harder. As you're going on flat surfaces, you're shifting down like that. That's going to control the back side here, as so. Then if you want to make it a little easier, you want to go on the bigger ring, this one here, shift up, and it's going to be a little easier. So if you're going on a smaller incline, or if you're starting to go up a hill, you want to make sure you start making your way up. And that brings me to the second point here. The left side on the shifter is going to control the front end here. So you'll notice sometimes it's a little hard to go over a climb, so you want to make sure you get on that smaller ring here, as so. And then you make your way up this way if you're going up a hill, or downward if you're going down the hill. So I get a lot of questions. One of the questions is which gear makes the most impact when you're riding? A lot of times it varies from the right to the left side depending on the type of terrain you're on. If you're on the flat surface and you're on the big gear, once you start making your way down, it makes a huge impact because you'll notice you get a lot more resistance, but you're going to be traveling a lot faster. Another question I get is, what happens if I switch gears while I'm pedaling hard or going uphill? And that's a really good question because I get this asked a lot by a lot of customers. What happens is you're trying to shift gears under stress. Your derailleur the chain is already pretty tight, so you don't want to really shift gears. What happens is it slams down to your gear, and it also starts wearing down your chain and your cassette a lot more. So you don't want to shift gears under stress. You want to shift prematurely before you get to the climb, or if you're going on the flatter surface, you want to stay on the same gear. Another question I get is when to properly shift my gears. That's another good question. I'll demonstrate here. So when you're on the flat surface, you're generally on the bigger ring, and as you're approaching a climb, you want to make sure you're on the right gear. So what you want to do is go from the big gear to the small gear, and you want to shift downwards about two or three gears. That'd probably be about the same ratio as you're going on the flat, but you're actually going to be in a lot better position to climb because your chain is going to be under stress. You'd be able to shift gears a lot better going up, and you'll feel a lot better climbing. Another good question is what happens if my chain falls off or if it's rubbing against the derailleurs. In that case, it usually needs a smaller trim that you find on the left shifter here, which if you can follow me here, we'll see that there's a small little adjustment here. So on the big ring, you'll notice that a lot because if you're on the big ring and you're on the bigger ring back here as well, most likely your chain is going to be cross-chain and it's going to be rubbing on derailleur. So what you want to do is just use these little small adjustments. If that isn't working, you want to make sure you come into the shop, get it adjusted. But in any case, if you notice any sort of movement, anything with the chain, you want to make sure you bring that in, before it progresses to something worse. One of the most common problems we see on road bikes a lot more often is the gear slipping. So that it generally means that your derailleur cable needs an adjustment. It's a little loose, so you want to make sure you bring it into a shop, have them adjust the barrel here, or adjust the front derailleur. But more than likely, it's just a small little adjustment, which you can do on the road if you're familiar with, but you don't want to do it if you're not familiar with it. You could cause a lot more damage to the bike than just bringing it into the store. Another good question I get a lot is when to do my tune-ups. Tune-ups are usually done, depending on how often you ride. I do my tune-ups about 3 or 4 months each time. Sometimes they require a small adjustment, or sometimes they're a lot bigger and a lot more work. So let's say that your gears are wobbling a lot more. You'll notice that you need a true, or if your bar tape is off, your cassette and chain are skipping a lot, and if you already adjusted them, that's really an indication that you got to get a tune-up, get all that replaced, and maybe just some adjustments, and get a wash while you're at it too. Thank you guys for watching. It's Louie here at Just Ride. Make sure to like our video and comment if you have any questions below. You can also come in the store or leave us a message on a DM on Instagram. Thank you.